cult of Hasanabi.
Congressman George Santos. He's now facing calls to resign from fellow Republicans, and his fake resume has surfaced, raising even more questions about his fabricated life story. Congressional correspondent Rachel Scott has the details. Good morning, Rachel.
George.
Woo, 795 on that one. Okay. That is reinforcement. That's positive reinforcement. You guys are telling me that I should keep doing the fucking British, that I should keep doing this accent. That's what you're saying, lads. I'll keep doing it then. All right, let's continue. Republicans are calling on Representative George Santos to resign.
George, good morning to you. Congressman George Santos is being called a disgrace.
Top of the morning to
now
you.
Facing his sharpest calls to resign from members of his own party. But one Republican that's not going that far, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. This morning, embattled Republican Congressman George Santos under pressure to resign, facing growing calls from his own party to step down.
He's not welcome here. He's disgraced the House of Representatives.
Yeah, dude. Our wonderful House of Representatives, dude. I mean, disgraced. All jokes aside, like, I'm not in the business of defending George. Okay, I am in the business of defending George Santos. Let's be real. I'm defending this motherfucker, okay? And I'll tell you what. Giorgio Santorini, okay? He's a liar and a crook. But he's still, he's no different than, like, all of these other congresspersons. It's not like the House of Representatives is full of wonderful human beings. They're all fucking crooks.
And we do not consider him one of our Congress people.
It's the most direct rebuke from Republicans yet. Local officials calling Santos a stain on the House of Representatives. But the Long Island Republican is defiant.
Congressman Santos, will you resign?
I will not.
Will you step down?
I will not.
New York Republicans are calling you a disgrace. You will not resign.
Oh, yeah, George Santos. George Santos already has a twink staffer who apparently was Madison Cawthorn's twink staffer beforehand.
You're accused of fabricating almost every single part of your life.
There he is right there, which, you know.
Deserve to represent people in New York.
Through the way.
Did you illegally?
Sorry, Mr. Santos.
You know his ass is happy he's not on match slap duty, okay?
Some campaign finance concerns and questions about your finance. Really? Can you answer the campaign finance
little
concerns?
Personal space, please.
A little personal space?
Why won't you answer our questions,
Congressman, you seem to be dodging
Don't the American
questions
people deserve
about
to
your
know some
finances
answers?
and about your background.
Congressman, what about those new accusations?
Listen. I'm glad that he's on George Santos duty, and like I said, nowhere near match slap. Okay? Santos addressed the Botox allegations. Yeah, it's fucked up. How is he not getting fired? Sorry, I'm not American. How is this possible? Yeah, the funniest part about this is that, like, Bojo got fucking cumstered and dumpstered because he, partied too hard? Like, you knew he fucked when you voted for him, okay? And then the entirety of Parliament decided that, like, he was no good. Why? Because he liked to party a little bit? Who cares? Meanwhile, in America, you could just straight up fucking lie nonstop. Just got 7 ads while subbed. You are currently not subbed, my friend. It says you have previously subscribed for 13 months, but not right now. It's just such a weird concept for other countries where, like, their politicians will get cumstered. But honestly, this is the way it is. The National Republican Party is not going to let one more fucking Republican vote get away. They will do everything they can to maintain this slim majority that they currently have. Look at what happened with Kevin McCarthy. Why the fuck would the National Republican Party allow this motherfucker to get impeached? Because the only thing you can do is, like, either you bully him into resignation, which he's not going to do, okay? Or you impeach him. And in order to start the impeachment proceedings, which is not going to go through, you can impeach him, you can bully him into resignation, or you can, open up a criminal case against him and investigate. And I think that there's a lot of evidence that he most likely committed campaign finance fraud. So you throw him in jail. That's it. So will those things happen? Well, the most likely scenario is the criminal investigation. That's the most likely outcome here, because the National Republican Party, the National Republican Party is never going to ask him to resign. Representative Santos tells reporters, here you go.
Congressman, what's your reaction to members of your own party calling for your resignation?
Are you planning to resign?
Congressman, what about
You resign, Will you resign if the voters
your
want
voters
you to
call
resign?
142 people asked for me to resign, I'll resign.
So he says if 142 people ask me to resign, I'll resign. You were right. His name isn't even George Santos. What? Okay. I love this. I love this little lie he says here, where he says, if 142 people ask me to resign, I'll resign. And then he clarifies. He says, 142,000 people who voted for me. The elevator cut that, he said. Which, no, it didn't. You just said 142, which is fine. Like, just say you misspoke. It's so weird. He feels the need to lie about everything. It's like, that's how you know when someone is a pathological liar. Not when they're lying for personal benefit, but when they're lying on things that are like objectively untrue that you can easily tell that don't even help him. Like, this is not, he didn't have to say that. He could have just said, I misspoke. I meant 142,000 voters. But even then he's like, no, the elevator actually cut that out. He like can't stop himself. He's just like lying on the lowest of stakes. You know what I mean? It's very weird. It's very odd. And it turns out he apparently might even be lying about his name, which is, oh my God. Oh my fucking God. I joked about this, but I didn't realize it could be true.
Folks, another important...
During the George Santos 2020 campaign, a person introducing him at the Queensville Republican Club expressed confusion as to why he changed his name from Anthony DeVolder to George Santos.
Speaker, another congressional nominee, George Santos. George, who we know is a friend, and he's known as Anthony DeVolder to me. So I don't know where George Santos came into the thing, but that's what it says here. He's the Republican candidate for the New York 3rd Congressional District, running against Pelosi puppet Representative Tom Suozzi, who is facing some radical left-wing Democrats in a primary. George worked at Goldman Sachs and is currently at Leap Bridge Investor, where he quickly advanced to become one of the youngest vice presidents in the industry.
Just all of it is a lot.
It's very impressive, George. Anthony, whatever you are. George has a passion for philanthropy, where he has founded and worked with nonprofit organizations. And I've met with this gentleman one-on-one. There's no one that has a bigger heart, more intelligent, and more passionate. And let's introduce our next congressman in that district, George Santos, Anthony DeVolder. Anthony, come on up.
I'm a victim of circumstances. My parents were Latino, so it's George Anthony DeVolder Santos, commonly known as Anthony. But I just wanted to thank all the speakers prior, Cherie.
That's why he didn't. That's why he didn't respond. It's not a lie. He has a long name. It's a Latino thing. No, I understand that. I understand what you're saying. I get it. But it's crazy to me that he doesn't even fucking respond to George Santos. Like, look.
Santos. Santos. Sorry.
He never fucking showed up to his Brazilian court hearing for his check fraud. Yeah, of course he didn't. Dude, yeah, here it is, by the way. The man holding the door for George Santos is Vish Burra, a Steve Bannon henchman and a leader of the New York Young Republican Club, is an elite fascist networking nexus with strong ties to the far-right foreign political parties. Burra is Santos's operations director. There you go.
Congressman Santos, what is your response to those that are calling for you to resign?
I will not resign. I will be continuing to hold my office elected by the people.
How do you feel like you're able to serve your people?
Part of me hopes this guy doesn't resign. Feels like every day he gives us new content. Yeah, I love that. George Santos says he's been an honest guy his whole life.
Was the origin of those resources.
Look, I've worked my entire life. I've lived an honest life. I've never been accused.
Bro, he's what? Why, dude? He's lied about everything, including right now. I mean, that part makes sense. Like, if you are a perpetual liar who is incapable of telling the truth, like physically incapable of telling the truth, then yeah, you're gonna lie about this. My dad voted for this guy. Wait, how does he feel? How does your dad feel about everything that he found out? He's just like, whatever, that's a reliable Republican vote. I don't give a fuck. Or what's going on there? Sorry, we're talking Long Island. That's a reliable Republican vote over here. I don't give a fuck. That's what you would say. That's the New York hogs. I don't give a fuck over here.
Of anything bad doing. So, you know, it's the equity of my hard working self, and I've invested inside of me. Like I said, it didn't come from Burisma. It didn't come from Ukraine, Russia, China, unlike some folks that we all know that get money from those sources.
Inside the Beltway, work you did that was the origin of those resources.
Look, I've worked my
It's not the lie that's bothering. It's how fucking easy you can waltz and fuck up in America. I mean, if you're playing an active role for the right party, or the right party being the Republican Party in this circumstance, yes, you can get away with everything. Yeah, the Nassau County Republican Party just said, which by the way is also funny, George Santos, Anthony DeVolver, told them in his vetting interview that he was a star volleyball player at Baruch College and won the league championship. He didn't even attend the school. It does not, like, these are things you don't have to lie about. Like, this plays zero role in whether or not he will be. Oh, God, I love him. I love him and I cherish him. It's bananas, dude. It is crazy. He does not have to lie about any of these things, and yet he still chooses to. And I appreciate that. Okay? I appreciate that. He has skin in the game. He's going to fucking lie all the goddamn time. George Santos in the 2009 volleyball league.
Shooting in the gym.
Okay, first of all, I've said this already. LeBron James could never lie as hard as George Santos. But he does do something similar to George Santos with the way he lies. Okay? LeBron James lies about so many things that are easily vetted that you don't need to lie about. Okay? So that is very similar. Like, he doesn't have to lie about watching a fucking soccer game, but he does it anyway. He doesn't have to lie about, like, listening to Beethoven in between, at a halftime, but he does it anyway. And that is le fib. Okay? It's a fib. He's a fibber. And George Santos does that as well. That's my favorite phrase, actually. Again, another thing that he does not have to lie about, but he does it regardless. George Santos, on the other hand, lies about the small shit in the same way that LeBron does, but then also lies about things that, like, you should not be lying about. It's awesome. Nassau County is corrupt as fuck. This is Nassau, Long Island you be talking about. I mean, of course it's corrupt as fuck. Anyway. This doesn't matter. Okay. Let's get back to Giorgio Santorini here.
Pardon me? What is your response to New York Republicans trying to get in the elevator?
Santos has already admitted to lying about his experience and biography. ABC News obtaining the resume he gave to the Nassau County Republican Party, claiming he worked for Goldman Sachs and Citigroup. He never did. And claiming he graduated from Baruch College with a 3.89 GPA that ranked him in the top 1% of the class. That was a lie, too. He never graduated from any college. Santos asserts he just embellished details of his background. But now he's facing new allegations that he illegally used campaign funds to pay for personal expenses like rent.
This part definitely is, like, campaign finance fraud is one thing that I think George Santos did definitely commit, and it's probably the closest way to eliminate him from the House of Representatives, is the quickest way to do such a thing. I don't think that there is any other way that he gets out. Like, there's no other way. The National Republican Party needs him because they already have a slim majority, and that slim majority is genuinely a problem for Kevin McCarthy. We saw what happened in the past, we saw what happened with the Never Kevers, right? Like, 5 people could basically fucking put Congress in a deadlock. So, you know, he is a reliable vote for the Republicans. So therefore, they will never vote him out. They will never impeach him. The only way is either by bullying him, which is not going to happen because, you know, he is a confidence man, very clearly. He has gotten to the position that he's gotten to by lying. Nothing can stop him. Okay? It's not going to happen. Unless there's an investigation that conclusively finds, which I do believe it would, that he did some campaign finance fraud. He engaged in some form of campaign finance fraud.
Santos insists he did nothing unethical, and the new Speaker of the House is standing by him.
Do you think he any action against him at this point?
Is there a charge against him? You know, in America today, you're innocent until proven guilty.
See? Kevin McCarthy already like, nah, no shot, bro.
McCarthy
Shut up.
insisting all this will be up to voters to decide in the next midterm election.
One thing I think, it's the voters who made that decision. He has to answer to the voters.
McCarthy told us that Santos will still receive committee assignments. Santos did back McCarthy.
What the fuck is this? How can he not be impeached for lying about his resume and stuff? In Germany, the finance minister lied about his doctoral thesis and had to resign within a week. Americans are shameless? The fuck do you mean? Have you met an American? Literally the most entitled fucking hogs on the planet. We run the planet. We think every single individual American is like incredibly... It's just America. Dude, Donald Trump became president, dog. What do you mean? What do you mean? We love confidence men. Look at Andrew Tate. People don't care. People literally look at con men and think, well, you know, he's telling me sweet nothings, but I like what he's saying, so I agree with him and I'm going to defend him. It is infinitely the most American thing. It is the most American thing to make sure that George Santos stays in power because, you know, he's helpful to some Republicans overall, and most people don't give a shit. My blood work that I did earlier. Okay.
McCarthy's bid to become the next Speaker of the House. With that razor-thin majority in the House, McCarthy will need his support as well, George.
Okay, Rachel, thanks. Let's bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. What is the legal risk here?
Well, look, just about every prosecutor that possibly could has announced they're investigating George Santos, right? You've got the local prosecutor, you've got state prosecutors, you've got the feds, you've got the FEC. I mean, everyone is now saying they're investigating George Santos. Here's what they're not going to be investigating him for. They're not going to investigate him for his resume, right? He's not going to get charged for saying he went to a college he didn't go to. The legal question is going to be about the money, is going to be about exactly how did he get that money.
Guys, it's just a little bit of blood work, okay? Yes, I'm Peter Thiel's blood boy. I'm sorry. Inflation hits all of us, okay? And I wanted to make sure that I have a steady flow of income coming in, and I'm giving Peter Thiel my juicy blood, okay? Yes, it's fine. Listen, it's honest work. No, I got my yearly physical done to get checked up and to make sure that, like, you know, my testosterone levels are healthy, my cholesterol is healthy, that sort of thing.
He gave to his campaign. Where did it come from? Was it a campaign finance violation? And here's the other thing he's got to be concerned about right now. There are a lot of other people coming out of the woodwork to allege that George Santos engaged in some sort of fraud with them. So it's not just the campaign he's got to worry about now. There's also the potential for maybe other charges that come in connection with something else he did with somebody else.
And we already know that Brazil has reopened an old fraud investigation.
Well, it's not just an investigation. They say that there are charges against him there, that they said, in effect, we'd been looking for him. We didn't know what happened to him, and then they were able to identify him. Do I think he's going to get extradited to Brazil for this? No. But it's just another thing that he's facing here.
But he can pretty much hold on to that seat if he wants to.
Absolutely. It would have to be Congress that would get rid of him, meaning even if he's charged, even if he's convicted, it would still have to be under congressional rules that he gets booted from Congress, not legally.
And
Is there a possibility, George, that congressionally, could they?
I mean, I suppose.
No, if he's charged and convicted, he's done. Like, they can't hold him. Like, he's in. No, it doesn't work. Like, I don't think if he's charged and convicted, they can keep him.
It's happened before. It happened to Jim Trafficant back in the 1980s, who's a Democrat from Ohio. But he would have to be convicted, and then that would be it.
Well, hey there, G.
Anyway, that's the update on George Santos. Here's how McCarthy's